Hi, it's Scott Sloan on the Big One 700 WLW today. April 12th, Equal Pay Day. Equal Pay Day. And the idea here is that women make far less than men do, and we've got to change that. Joining me on 700 WLW is Debbie Saviano, who along with Linda McMahon of WWE fame, co-founded Women's Leadership Live. Good morning, Debbie. How are you?
Good morning. And also Stacey Shefflin, who's been on Home Shopping Network for the past 18 years. All three of us founded Women's Leadership Live.
Well, I don't want to short anyone who's on Home Shopping Channel.
Absolutely. Stacey's a huge personality on Home Shopping Network.
All right, Equal Pay Day, Debbie, what does that mean?
It means that women have to work up until today to be equal pay with men, their counterparts in the year. So when men started January 1st, 2016, ours basically starts today. That's what that means.
Is this part of the women make, depending on the study, 72 to 77 cents in a dollar?
Correct.
All
exactly.
Right.
It depends on the research.
Right. Let me ask you something. Why has this myth carried over for an entire generation, if not two?
I think that's a great question. I think that because it's change is hard. Change is very difficult. And I think that until we have women who want to be focusing on targeted solutions, men and women, I believe it's equal, because I think many researchers show that almost 70% of men believe this is an issue that needs to have attention as well. So I think until we start talking about it and start looking at what are the solutions and how can we make a change in it, it's going to continue. But I do think the dialogue and the conversations that people are having, like you're having this morning on your program, and across the country.
I don't know if you caught it, but I totally believe this is a myth.
No, I did. It's interesting because I think that's what makes dynamic conversation.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let me frame it this way. And I get back in the day before you had the world at your fingertips. You can Google a whole bunch of stuff, but it has largely been proven untrue by unbiased research and data, overwhelming reams of it. And I get that it has to be a 5-second soundbite to get attention. For example, I know nobody's going to get too upset about me going, look, hey, women get paid less than men for completely different work. That's not going to upset people. So if you go, women get paid less for the exact same work, that's the soundbite. And I know it's not true. And when you look at the 75% figure, cents on the dollar figure, it comes from averaging all men and all women full-time workers. So you're not comparing apples to apples. You're comparing the apples to spare tires. But no one gets upset by going, you know what, women make less, but they do different jobs.
Well, and I think that's why we have to have the conversations. We have to work with women today to go into the fields that men are in that are being paid more. Mm-hmm. That's why women are so focused on STEM, right? Science,
right.
Engineering, math.
And I'm glad you point that out, Debbie, too, because I think this whole thing has been twisted and convoluted in a sense that that somehow there's this huge. If you ask any guy. And I'm a married guy, been married for a while. Ask any guy in a relationship, hey, is it cool if your spouse makes 25% less than you do simply based on chromosomes? I mean, no guy in the world would think that's a good idea because the money all goes in the same pot. So the idea that somehow women are unfairly treated simply because they're women is a gross injustice.
I just think that we as women have to be advocates for ourselves, know our value, know what the industry's paying, and go out there and advocate for ourselves. That's the thing Linda, Stacey, and I are so passionate about doing, making sure women have the facts and the figures. If you're in a certain job, what should your pay be? Forget the men and the women around you. What are you worth? And not forget, I don't mean that doesn't sound right, but to be prepared to know what your value is and to go to the table and ask for that. Ask for what your salary should be. Know what your worth is, know what the skills are you bring to the table, and know what you're only willing to work for. And we need to help women be stronger advocates for themselves for that.
And maybe better negotiators, too. I mean, women tend not to be good negotiators.
Because we haven't seen that as a role. And many of the things that women have gone into, they're more of a standard salary, if you will, nursing, teaching. Those are usually standard. There's usually, my background's education. There wasn't a negotiation for salaries in education. You came in at a certain rate. That's what you got, as well as every other man or woman in the same field as you. So there wasn't negotiation. But you're exactly right. It's an art and a science to negotiation. And we need to teach women exactly how to do that very thing. Because you're right, it is about negotiation.
Largely, too. But it's also, among other choices as well. And I I think I'm certainly you catch a lot of flack, it sounds like then, from probably feminists out there, because women generally, as you said, take lower income positions. Women generally will work fewer hours, especially when children are involved because of that. And I think the value structure for women are a little bit different. Men value the higher incomes. Women want the flex time and the hours and the benefits and all that stuff.
I agree, but then I'd also challenge you with I know a lot of women today who are very high-powered women in their jobs. Their husbands have chosen, because someone needs to be at the house to take care of the family and to run that. They've chosen to do that.
Yeah.
They've chosen to be that role model.
Absolutely.
To stay home.
Now, are those women that when the roles are reversed, and that's a great question there, when it's a stay-at-home dad, and I know many people who are stay-at-home dads and love it, right. And so it's cool those role models are reversed. Hey, the woman, she's got the great job, she's killing it. Why am I, why am I slugging it out for not getting raises for 5 or 6 years? I'm going to stay home and raise my kids. When the roles are reversed, do we find that women are actually making as much, if not more, for the same job than their male counterparts?
In those top-level positions, then that's going to be the case. But again, that's a small percent. But yes, in those top level, when you have women who go into the science, the technology, engineering, the math, they're going to have a stronger opportunity to be closer in salary, yes. But again, it's about the negotiation. And millennials going in today, millennials are much stronger about going in and saying, hey, women, I'm talking about, this is what I need for my raise, and getting it, because they know how to negotiate for it.
There's much to be made about the wage gap myth, too. But what about the hours work gap? And these numbers are from the left-leaning Women's Policy Research Institute and Pew Research, that male workers tend to work more hours than female workers, and that figure is somewhere between 2 and 8 hours a week among full-time workers. On the other hand, we're hearing on Equal Pay Day, female workers tend to get less income than men. So I guess the question is, back to this, what's more important to you, more money or time off?
And I think that varies upon the individual. You have to base on where are you in your career? Where are you in your life? Where are you in your family? Millennials are starting families later. So for a woman, she might go into the field out of college, for say, at 23, 24 years old. She might not have her first child until mid-30s. She's 10 years in the workforce before that becomes a question for her. And then all of a sudden, I recently was talking to a young woman who's very successful. She didn't even think about the maternity leave, family leave act, et cetera, until she had her baby, but she was in her late 30s. So that whole time before that, it wasn't an issue. So until things become relevant to you, and until people have the discussions like you're having, that's why today's important. It's not so much, in my opinion, about that it's April 12th. It's about the fact of making sure women understand jobs to go into, how to advocate for themselves, how to negotiate. To me, that's what's important.
You are absolutely right. When I had not spoken to you before coming in, I thought, okay, well, Debbie's going to come on and Equal Pay Day, and women are getting the shaft, and the whole Hillary Clinton thing. And you know what? I totally agree with everything you said in the last 12 minutes. I mean, that's what you want to empower women, but to think that somehow you've got this whole separate group of women, and I mentioned Secretary Clinton, who are perpetuating the myth that just because you're a woman, you're going to make 25 cents less an hour. And I don't know a guy who would stand for that, and to put it in a business model, if that were the case in a woman who could do the same job for 25% less salary, why would we ever hire a man?
Good point, Scott. Well, again, because
we'd all be stay-at-home dads, Debbie, right? Because hey, you're going to do the same job for 25% less. Guess what? The guy who's doing the hiring does not give a damn what gender you are. They care about how much money they can put to the bottom line.
Exactly, and that's why women have to be empowered and bring that value to the table. It's all about the education. Again, my background is education. Lyndon, Stacy, and I are strong with making sure women are empowered with the knowledge, the skills, the strategies, know how to negotiate for an increase. Know, as I said, it's an art and a science. Know who you're talking to, be prepared, know your research, have a plan of action, and know the value you bring.
And that's what I'm trying to impart. My daughter's 18 and still trying to figure stuff out. There's some ladies that are touring the radio station, kind of listening a little bit, too, to what we're talking about. And I would say the same thing to them is, you have, unlike any other generation before you, you have a great opportunity here to choose whatever path it is you want. But if you decide at some point, hey, you know what, I'm going to have children, that becomes more important than your job, expect that, your employer to go, okay, well, there's less value because you're going to be out of the workforce for a little bit. So I totally understand that dynamic, but, choose what makes you happy. I think that the people out there that push this, the feminist agenda, the Hillarys of the world, are doing a great disservice to women, making them feel badly for essentially embodying what they allegedly are for, and that is making your own path in life, deciding what it is that makes you happy. Because as a woman, you have no greater opportunity than in 2016 to choose the path you want.
Absolutely. Your daughter needs to come to our event it's in Irving, Texas, suburb of Dallas. But you need to have her come because it is about no barriers, no limitations.
Gladly, I got to get her the hell out of the house is what I got to do, Debbie. I'll send her to Irvine. Absolutely.
You got 3 days to come down, and maybe she'll come back a new woman. What's her name?
That's fine. I send her down there with you guys. Let you guys straighten her out. I can't get through to her.
Well, we would love the opportunities. Like I said, we're aimed at training women for success, however they define that. No barriers, no limitations. What do you want to do that gets you excited? Just like you. I can tell just by talking to you. You get up every day pumped and excited to do what you do. That's what we want every person, male or female, to do in this world.
Not really. I'm kind of faking it. But anyway, Debbie. Yeah, I'm a good faker, right? Final question for you here. Do you get a lot of pushback from women's groups and women saying you're betraying us in a sense, that you and Linda McMahon and Stacey Shefflin, that you're betraying women somehow? Because the popular notion, especially today in New York State, as they head to the primaries there, Hillary Rodham Clinton having women stand behind. She wants the whole equal pay thing. She is selling the notion that women make 25% less than men for doing the same job, which has been proven untrue time and time again. But again, if you say the lie enough, it continues to become the truth. Do you get any react from those people saying you need to shut up?
I think that sound bites are a dangerous thing because that's all people listen to are sound bites. I think what people need to look at is what can you control? I can only control me. That's all I can control. So how can I help the other women around me be the strongest, most positive, empowered woman they can be? And don't be distracted by sound bites from anyone, anywhere. Only know what you can do and then set forth the path, because we get distracted when we do that.
Yeah.
We get distracted instead of looking and saying, look, this is what I want to do. I'm going to get to New York. How am I going to get to New York the fastest, smoothest way? So what do I do? Or California, wherever I'm going, my career. Be focused and learn, grow, know your skills, your strategies, and be focused. Don't get distracted by sound bites from anyone.
Yeah, and don't be told by anyone how you should live your life. And I'm sure there are employers out there that are guys that are biased against women, as there are employers out there maybe biased against other groups. I understand that,
right.
And we need to marginalize that. It's never going to be a perfect world. On the other hand, it is the same thing when feminists talk about how women should fit their preconceived role and their preconceived notion that somehow you're a betrayer. There's a betrayal if you have children and you get out of the workforce. It's ridiculous.
We make the choices we make based on, we should make the choices we make based on what's best for us and our family. And we just want, Linda, Stacey, and I, we want women to know their value, have the skills, have the strategies, and follow their heart of what they know they're meant to do. And to be the best at that. Be the best at that. And not be distracted by any distractors.
Yeah, there's not a guy out there, a husband, a boyfriend, a suitor, whoever it might be, someone in a long-term relationship who does not want their significant other, namely their female in their life, to be as successful and rewarded as highly as possible. So just on the sniff test there, the whole 25% gap based on gender doesn't pass the sniff test at all, because why would if my significant other make 25% more just for showing up doing the same job as a man, any guy in the world would want that.
Well, and I think that the one thing that's important that you talked about and you alluded to with your daughter, mentoring women is one of the most, and again, some of my most powerful mentors were men because of when I came up in education, but women have got to mentor women better. Those women who are successful in their fields, who've had certain things that they've overcome, mentor women. That's one of the things we have as part of our program is to offer that to young women who are interested in partaking so that they can have those skills. They understand what's necessary. So, we want equality for everyone. I don't care gender, it doesn't matter. We are a stronger society in the world when we have equality, and that can go across many different fields. But right now, we're focusing on women and how we can help women achieve.
Well, it's just things, and this kind of sounds like the North Carolina debate too, or Mississippi or whatever too. Is it's just things work a lot more smoothly. And I'm talking about business. I'm talking about the economy, the market economy of America. When all that stuff is set aside, when you just allow people who want to work to do the work and let them do it unimpeded, it's better for them. It's better for America.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much, Debbie Saviano. Nice Italian girl.
Talking to you.
I was, too. And say hi to Linda McMahon and Stacy Shefflin. We'll see you on Home Shopping and Women's Leadership Live.
And yes, womensleadershiplive.com. Be sure and have your daughter check us out.
I will do that. I'll ship her down UPS.
We'll welcome her with open arms.
All right. Thanks again. I appreciate it. Have a great day. There you go. I thought that was why. I thought she hit it out of the park. It's about empowerment and deciding what it is you want to do.